a Kundalini extravaganza on New Year's Eve. So it'll start at 7, and we'll bring something to share, and we'll socialize, and we'll eat, and we'll play. And then I have it on Facebook, and it'll be on the web, a lineup of what's going to happen. But there'll be a really deep sound healing, a lot of chanting, and a really powerful Kriya that's come through that I think is going to be awesome for that night. So what will happen, it'll be just really cool, because we will take this 4th sutra that we're currently in right now, this Rocky Rakanagar energy, this compassion and understanding. And when we go into that new year, we are transferring into vibrate the cosmos, and it will clear the fucking path. So no more messing around, right? So we are all a little freaked out, with this election. And, what I am certain of as a spiritual person is that we'd be freaked out no matter what. And that what we really have to own is whatever we're feeling right now is good, because you're getting shook up, and the great thing about when you get shook up is you have to take a look at yourself and ask yourself what is going on for you that needs to shift. Because everything in this creation is a co-creation. And we created it. So, I went to Tony Robbins. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that man, he gets on the stage, he doesn't leave for 10 hours. He doesn't pee, he doesn't drink, he doesn't freaking leave. And you're like, is this a good time? I mean, I kind of have to, I knew it was going to be like that, so I had Purium and apples and almonds, so I could survive. But I have to pee, and he's a real, healthy guy, really hydrated. So, but I think it's like when he does that, he gears up like he's going to war, and he's like, I ain't leaving this stage when he gets up there. Yeah. And, there was so many things that came through, but, and this is a thing we all know, but I feel so moved by it more than ever, and that is, we really, really, we say, oh, we manifest our reality, but I don't think we get it. We are making this shit up. We are so responsible for what's in our life. And and the reason that sounds weird is because it's like that there's a certain amount of guilt, or it's your fault. That's not it. Because your soul doesn't see it that way. Because when challenges come up, it's like, good, let me roll up my sleeves. I came here to learn this. It's not, but when we hear something like that, it's kind of like the humanity hears it and goes, oh, so it's my fault I have cancer? What the fuck? Now, that's not what we're saying. But what we're saying is, there's just such an urgency that we understand that, because we have such great power right now to make so much beautiful things happen in our lives and in the world. And we really have to, here's the thing. It's not just, Om Shanti Shanti, visualize, yes. It's also massive action plan, right? So I always go back to when I had the vision board, and I wrote the letter to God, and I wanted Tony, and I named him Troy, and he came as Tony, and I'm like, that's one letter off, good enough, And it was so obvious that the universe and I were co-creating. Because I wanted a tall blonde, and in my dreams, this freaking little Italian dude kept showing up. And I was like, I would stretch him. I literally would. I would stretch him out. We were on the beach, and I would make him tall, slap the blonde hair on. What the hell? Let's get back to what I'm creating here. And I remember telling my spiritual teacher, she goes, has it ever occurred to you that the universe is trying to tell you what he is? I'm like, oh. But so that's the visual, but if I only did that, nothing would have happened. What I don't talk about is the massive action plan. What I knew after leaving my first husband was I was a freaking wreck. And I would attract that man again and again and again. I knew it, I could feel it. And even though I was really young, I was 25 years old, I said, I went on a spiritual retreat. I saved my money up Even my brother thought, you're weird. What 25-year-old does that? You should be like out getting drunk. Go to Vegas. Be normal. And it's not that I didn't do that. You know, I partied like a rock star back then. But I also always had this other side. So I went on this retreat on my 25th birthday, and it was like, and before that, after leaving my husband and doing this vision board, I was hell-bent on getting to know me. Who was it in here that thought that was the best I deserved? And I had to, only I could deal with her. And I did, and it wasn't easy, and it wasn't quick. And then, just when I'm starting to feel okay, my teacher's like, now you need to put an ad out in the paper and start, you know, and I'll never forget, and Wanda Benet is just she's such a beautiful angel in my life. She's sitting there, this beautiful, in her little cross leg. She goes, it's a numbers game. She goes, you've got to increase the odds now. And I'm like, oh my God. And she goes, and here was the massive action plan. She said, you have to practice, now that you've gotten to know you, you need to get out there and practice hanging on to her. So don't worry, the universe is going to give you a lot of toads before he gives you something good. Because you need to do that. You need to do that so that you can, this is who I am, this is where I'm going, right? And so I tell you that because, you know, I should know, like to the core of my being, how much the universe works and how much it listens. And I have never, ever done that again. I never asked for God's help to help me be sober, and I struggled way too long because of it. I never did a massive action plan on being a Kundalini teacher. There's a specific thing right now I want to create in my life. And I really got in touch with that this week, and that you aren't doing what you did back then. Now, part of it was youth. You know, like I always have women that come to me that want to meet the one, and I tell them, okay, you ready for a full-time job? Yeah. Because that's what we're talking about here. Any great thing, the great relationship, the great career, if you have cancer and you're going to heal it, we're talking a full-time job you're adding into your life. So you either want to give lip service to something that's been going on a long time. So for me, it's like the whole eating thing. I've been talking about the bean and cheese burrito for a long time. You know, and just that whole shit show over there. Sorry. It has to stop. You know, because, and the thing is because it's not loving to me. That's right. And the only reason I get up here and tell you these pathetic things about me is because I have an inkling, right, that we're all in the same boat. And it's like, what we're going to do tonight, it's like, it has to be a balance. That's why, the reason I went to Tony Robbins is because I love Yogi Bhajan. And honestly, what I saw in that man was Yogi Bhajan. I mean, Yogi Bhajan burnt his body down, literally. He died at a very young age because of all of the tantric yoga he did. And tantric yoga was much like, you know, what Tony Robbins is doing on stage. Yogi Bhajan would get up there, and he would sit there for 10 hours and just kriya after kriya after kriya, you know. And it was like, sir, you know, they're kind of tired. They're not there yet, you know. And this energy was very much like that too. So when we do our New Year's Eve thing, you know, that's what, 7 to 12:15. So it's a lot of energy. And what happens in something like that is you learn how not to give up. I mean, there were times when I wanted to, you know, I sat down and, oh my God, I don't want to stand up and dance again. For God's sakes, Tony. You know, and I know when I go to Hardy Jivan, here's what will happen when I go see Hardy Jivan for 3 days of Kundalini. He will not be on time. He will go way over. He won't let me eat lunch when I want to. He will drive me freaking nuts. But I know he does it on purpose. And why do you think he would do something like that? Because if I am still enamored and by being comfortable and that my ego needs to know the schedule, you know, I signed up for this Kundalini training to elevate. And all those concerns are still really kind of in a box and small. And so I finally, after about 3 years, I get over it on the first night when I'm up past my bedtime. It's like, God. I wanted to be in bed by now. But, you know, and so it's like we're doing that. So we do this in Kundalini. So you have endurance in life. Remember how I was saying, so I go and I date all the lemons so I could remember who I am? It's the same thing in a Kundalini class. Only when you come to a workshop, 3 hours, or New Year's Eve, 5 hours, or we're going to do something in March, 3 days, it's going to be on the mental intrigues, which is basically your poo-poo. So, and get rid of them. But so when we stay in the energy, what happens is we can hit a wall together. You know, you'll get to the point on your mat where, oh God, enough is enough. And then you go further. You find this place inside of you that can take you there. Because, you know, you are super souls, but your soul is just not enough. Your soul came to make a human being God. Do you realize that's what's going on? That's why this is so tough. The soul is not satisfied to just, okay, it didn't work out this lifetime, I guess I'll die, bye, and fly on to the next lifetime. It's done that thousands and thousands of times. These bodies are made to last way longer than they are. So what we're really doing now as a human species is evolving the human. And yeah, probably not in my lifetime will I see it, but probably in my next lifetime, if I really work hard this one, right? And I'm like Yogananda. Thank God Yogananda was my teacher. He's kind of funny. He would say things like that, like, well, he wasn't very good at tennis, but he thought, I'm going to play tennis anyways because next lifetime I'll come back and I'll be pretty good at it. Don't rule that out, ladies, right? So we are going to push from here to the end of the year in Kundalini Yoga to really heal those last things. Because, you know, this 2016 is an end of a 9-year cycle. So what we're dealing with is 2007 to now. And a lot has gone on in that period, hasn't there? Right? And this last part, especially this week at the end of Scorpio, Scorpio is always like, really like, you know, it's scary sometimes. And it's going to grind you this next 5 days. But Scorpio's about death. And so if you feel like you're still trudging your baggages up to the New Year's line, you can drop them now. Or you can come on the 31st and I'll beat them right out of your hands. It's your choice. All right, rub your hands together. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Bring your hands into your heart. And just feel how blessed we are to be right here, right now. Inhale to chant. Om.